I think it's of extreme value. So shifting gears back to, inside the deal a little bit. Once you've identified a true believer or champion, and this is particularly sensitive to me because I've made this mistake and relied on my champion alone and not sold up the chain. What's the hardest thing about helping them sell up the chain, and how do you keep the momentum when procurement or finance step in to basically slow down deals?
Sure. So I used to get a kick out of some of the companies I've worked for where sales management, that was their mantra: call higher, call higher, call higher. The reality
Mm-hmm.
is that, so I don't know, I've helped organizations like General Motors and others buy tens of millions of software, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of software over the years. And I got to tell you, I don't have the CEO of General Motors on my speed dial. I don't play squash with Mark Zuckerberg or these other execs, but I've done business with all their organizations. They all have people to
Yep.
work with vendors. So I don't think that the issue is belief. I think the issue is finding a credible or finding a technical advocate who has political capital and
Yeah.
helping them deal with the bureaucracy of their employers. They lose momentum when deals hit financial review. So I help them translate their enthusiasm into the product into CFO safe
Mm-hmm.
language.
Yes.
Risk quantification, ROI validation, risk aversion. Every dollar that you can quantify and reduce in risk has tremendous value back to the organization. So to the
Yeah.
degree that we can help them put together their emotional connection to the solution and tie that with an economics connection, put together a forwardable proposal that's going to land without the need for me being there. We've helped them achieve their business outcomes, and we never had to, resort to going over somebody's head or alienating people. This is all about helping them achieve their desired business outcomes.
There's so much innovation and creativity that happens at that point if you're doing it right. I did that video. I've done a little cue card, but the thing that you hit on that I think is most critical there, and I agree with you 100%, you've got to put it in the language that CFO wants to hear.
Yeah.
What's the upside? What's the risk? What happens if we don't do it? What happens if we do it? And do we have a plan? And if you satisfy those things, you might have something there. So,
And I would also argue it's not just math, right?
no.
Organizations use math to justify emotional connection to a solution. People working over the weekends to solve a problem, customer retention. These are all emotional things. Yes,
Yeah.
there's KPIs, but they result in math. So I do always encourage reps, and I coach them on how to have emotional connection to a problem, a solution, as well as a economic connection that satisfies the CFO and finance.
That's an excellent point to bring up. It really, really is. What do you think, or what have you seen that senior buyers actually want to see, or what do they notice first? And what is it that they're quietly ignoring?
Sure. Well, I can speak with experience what they don't want to see. So just imagine you've got a group of people in an audience for the first time meeting you. They're coming at this having done something else. Maybe it's Monday morning and they had problems at home, or they had or they have problems at work. An employee left, or they just got yelled at from their boss. There's something else going on in their head. Now all of a sudden they're coming to a Zoom meeting, and oh my God, here's this vendor. He's going to sell me something. The last thing they want to see in the first slide is everything about you. Here's who we are. Here's who funded us. Here's our VCs. Here's our logo slide. Oh my goodness. what they need to know in the first slide is that you've done your research and you can tell me, where am I broken? What's it costing me? What fixing it looks like, so that I immediately focus back on what you're talking about. That's how you earn a room. Um,
Hmm.
they ignore adjectives. They ignore feature dumps. You'll get to how you do things once you've earned their support for why you're doing it. You're selling the whole, not the shovel. I'm sorry to use a overused cliche,
No,
but that's
no,
what
that's a
they
good
need.
one.
Yeah, that's what they need to understand, is how you're going to help them improve their business, which ultimately, candidly, needs to translate into, how are you going to help me increase revenue, reduce cost, and lower risk?
Yeah.